Alright. Let's get this show on the road.
Hello, and welcome to Three-Dimensional Babble, where we talk about books, TV, movies, anything else that strikes your fancy. I'll be your host, Michael Schonhoff. Let's get started.
So Fridays are going to be a little bit more nonchalant than my other videos. I'm going to be doing this pretty much improv style. Fucking amazing. Perfect. Fuck. I forgot my water. I had my water the whole time. Alright, cool. Might be a little longer than usual also. I'm going to edit down. I edited it down, obviously. We'll see how it turns out. But today, we're going to be talking about Legend of Drizzt. Is my favorite hero of all time. He's a great role model. I've been reading his books since high school, like probably freshman year. I'll be finished with this eventually. But yeah, Legend of Drizzt. All right, so for those of you who don't know, for those who don't know, Legend of Drizzt is about a dark elf named Drizzt. Obviously, he comes from a city of like really bad bunch of dark elves who consistently go on raids above ground. They live underground. They terrify like every other race. Races are fucking. They're like basically if you imagine racism only if like racism was warranted. Like say like we were racist against like black people, but the reason we were racist was because they were killing us on a consistent basis. Like, you know, like they were completely mass murder all the time. That's what it is. It's an underlying tone of racism in the books. But yeah, long story short, he's like the only good one in a sea of just like terrible people. And he says, "Fuck you guys, I'm going to the surface." And so he goes to the surface, meets up, and he's like lost for a while. He ends up finding like a god in Maliki, which is like a forest god. Well, that's like, you know, details you guys could read in the books or whatever. I'm going to be talking about like the later books because that's where I'm at right now. And like yeah, I'm not even done with the series. There's like 21 books in the series, and I'm only on book 17. He's the best. He's the best. So he's just he dual wields scimitars, which is just like cool in itself. Every character I've ever made in any game, like for Skyrim and shit like that, like always do dual wielding weapons. It's kind of it's my friends have gotten pretty sick and tired of it actually. I'm pretty sure by now. It's gotten to the point where like whenever we start like a new MMO or something, my roommate's always like, "Hey, so there's this new MMO. You want to try it out?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "So you're gonna be a dark elf, dual wielding scimitars or dual wielding swords, and are probably gonna be a ranger, right?" I'm like, "Nah, yeah, that's what I do." But yeah, no, it's just so cool. Like the Ari Salvatore has the best writing for combat I've ever borne witness to. Like it's just fucking phenomenal writing for his combats, and it's just there's so much going on, and you can just visualize literally everything that's happening. There's every step, everything, just fucking awesomeness. So it's just really cool, and like if you guys get a chance to read it, it would be great. But if not, you could always just like check out this series, and maybe because I'm talking about the later books, you'll be interested in reading the first books. First book's called Exile, no. First book is Homeland. Sorry. First book is Homeland. Second book is Exile, and then third is Sojourn. Those are like the first three. If you aren't hooked by the first three books, then obviously it's not for you. But it's really cool. He meets up. So long story short, he goes to a village called 10 Towns. It's just a bunch of villages that kind of cooperated, and they built their own like massive civilization. Not really massive, but it's like in the middle of like a fucking tundra, which is perfect because he likes to be alone since like no one accepts him for who he is because he's a dark elf and everyone hates dark elves. Uh, so he meets up with a small girl who's like a human girl. She's been raised by a dwarf who's Bruner. This is actually important because these are his companions that he has now. And so the girl, her name is Canterbury. He later like falls in love with her, and that's where we're at now. Is where he's kind of separated from them at this point. I'll get to that later, but then like along the way, barbarians invade, and then fend off the barbarians thanks to Dritz and Bruner because they're fucking awesome at fighting. And then like they take a prisoner, kind of a prisoner, like a indentured servant almost from. He's like a young barbarian, basically didn't know any better, and so Bruner raises him, and he becomes his adopted son. And his name is Wolfgar, so that's the other one. The other companion is a small halfling who goes by the name of Regis. He's just kind of like, he's a smooth talker. He has this gem that can like enchant. It's an enchanted gem. He can just like bend people to his will. I'm gonna take a break to eat a little bit. All right, so where were we? We were talking about Regis. Yeah, he has an enchanted gem that he can control people's minds with, like temporarily. Like he can do like orcs and giants and stuff like that, and they make them fight for him, which is like really cool. Regardless, so he makes them fight for him, which is awesome. So where I'm at now, they have been companions for ever, like for years and years. And Canterbury is like 20 some years old. Bruner rediscovered a lost place for the dwarves called Mithril Hall. He's now the king of Mithril Hall because his ancestor was the king before him, Gandalug. And his name is Bruner Battlehammer, so it's like the Battlehammer clan. Where I'm at now, a horde of like 10, I think, yeah, they said 15,000 orcs are collapsing in on this like small, not small, but like about like 2,000-ish dwarves. That's kind of a big fucking deal. Dritz thinks all of his friends are dead because the orcs previously ransacked this whole village that him and his friends were staying at, but he left to go take care of giants because like the giants were fucking it up. So he thinks that all of his friends are dead. And so he's on his way to like kind of help out the dwarves. He's like super distraught. And what's scary is that whenever he is emotionally fucked up, he gets into this like they call it the hunter, and he goes into like this deep rage, and he's just unkillable. The motherfucker just like goes through whatever the fuck he wants to, and he just like slaughters people. It's amazing. There's one point in the book, it's like my favorite point in the book. He goes to this like this orc or whatever. He just proceeds to slaughter an entire encampment of orcs, and one orc was just like left helpless. He's like, oh my god, I don't know what the fuck to do. Dritz just like appears behind him because he's fast as fuck. He has some enchanted anklets too that let him run faster, which is awesome. He just appears behind this fucking orc, and the orc straight up just like he basically pisses himself, and like he leans into the orc, and he's like, go to your leader. I want you to tell him that I'm coming and I'm going to kill him. And he's like, I want you to tell them. I want you to tell him. I want you to tell them all. And it's just so badass. He's just like the fear he strikes into this fucking orc. This orc's just like, yeah, fuck it. I'm gone. And like before he leaves, this is like the kicker. Before he leaves, he takes the sword and he just fucking slices off the ear of the orc. It's fucking like, holy shit. Like this traumatization, dude. You just watched all your comrades die. And like there's this guy saying like, hey, I'm gonna kill your leader. go tell him. I want you to be the messenger. And like your leader's like the type of guy who like if you tell him something like this, he's probably gonna kill you. And then like right before you leave, or right before you're about to leave, he just like cuts off your ear, and you're like, fuck, like this is the worst day of my fucking life. But where I'm at now, it's really intense. He is so Dritz just arrived at the battlefield, and Canterbury and everyone's there, but he doesn't see them. He's like on the other side of the battlefield, and he's hanging out with this elf who lost her lover, who knew Dritz. It gets convoluted, but her lover knew Dritz, and they were like hanging out because they found each other like when Dritz thought everyone else was dead, and so like now he's hanging out with this female elf because like a couple other drow, which is dark elf, a couple other drow happened to stumble upon these two elves and murdered like the male, and so like the female is like really really upset, and so Driss has been with her and like vowed revenge and shit like that, and she's like not about that kind of thing, like she's just not like that, but she gets like that, and she was like, oh, I'm gonna kill the fucking orc leader. But the orc leader is like a god or something. I'll get into that like next video, because I'm still reading the book right now. I'm not done. But yeah, that'll be it's enough for like an entire other video. But yeah, it's fucking intense. They just got to the battlefield, and she just killed the orc leader's son, and it was crazy. Like shit just oh my god. Meanwhile, like the dwarves are defending the cliff, and the giants that were throwing, they built a giant catapult or whatever, and like they were about to just throw boulders and shit, which would have fucked up the dwarves. But there's this little gnome guy who showed up, and he's an alchemist, and he had the dwarves make this contraption that like took a bunch of manpower and shit. Yeah. So it took a bunch of manpower, and he made this contraption that like left or put a bunch of sulfur gas like where the giants would be, and then like Canterbury. Canterbury uses an enchanted bow. She can never run out of arrows. Never forget that, because it's like her main deal. Like she's a fantastic like archer. Well, she takes her bow and she just fucking points Talmaril out, fucking lets loose. She hits a bomb that like Nanfoodle, which is the gnome, had one of the dwarves create, and it hit the box and exploded like a giant fucking fireball. Oh, it's so crazy. Like the resemblance. Oh, I think it's funny. I hope you guys like the little logo thing. I'm trying it out. I figure people have logos. Courtesy of one of my friends, I'll link in the description. Her name is Kelly Mariko. She made that for me while I was in college, and it's fucking awesome. Go Kelly. But yeah. Basically, like, it's just like a giant explosion hit. It killed all of the giants that were like building the catapult, fucked up the catapult. Now this giant horde of orcs, it's like 5,000 orcs, are coming in, and they're about to fuck up the rest of the dwarves, because they've been fighting nonstop for like, I don't even know how long at this point. It's been probably like a month-ish, I'd have to say, like, from the time period it gave. It's probably been almost maybe a couple months, actually. It's been a while. But what I'm really excited, because I think it's because like I don't know, I still have like a little bit left. It's like I think I'm on the last chapter, the chapter before last. But Dritz is about to meet up with everyone, and I think it's going to be like a really heartwarming moment. But yeah, that's my first live chat. Hope you guys liked it. Check out my other content. Links. I'll put like boxes like right here. Yeah, for episode 1 and episode 2, if you haven't seen those yet. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Really like subscriptions. Also tell your friends. Make sure get as many people over here. I'm hungry for attention. Hope to see you guys next time. Peace out.